All right, so we're out here early in the morning, but before I left for work, I actually wanted to share you probably my best advice if you're wanting to start making content this year. So, one of the things I like to tell everyone is the first thing. So, I'm going to break down a couple things that I think you need to understand if you want to start making content in the new year. Is you want to make it easy. Because this is probably the biggest thing that I've learned so far is so I started reading Atomic Habits, and that was a book that pretty much changed my life, and one of the big ideas from Atomic Habits was talking about to establish a habit you want to make easy. So there's a couple different ways that you can do that. First, what you want to do, because one of the biggest obstacles that you're going to run into is you are going to want to make really good YouTube videos because you'll see all these other creators and you're like, oh, these people have such good YouTube videos. Therefore, I need to make really good YouTube videos. But the only problem with that, to make really good YouTube videos, that actually takes a lot of time and effort, which you probably don't have a lot of, and you're probably not that good at it yet. So it's going to take even more time and effort. And because of that, typically how it goes is people are like, okay, I'm going to make a really good video because I want to be YouTube famous. I want to grow my business with YouTube. I want to do all the things. So they jump into the process. They have this ambitious goal of making the best video possible. And then they get into the process and realize, oh, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. And therefore, they end up getting stuck, never starting, and never actually posting on YouTube, which obviously you have to start before you can really make progress. So, my advice, the first thing that I would say, if you haven't made any content and you've been thinking about it, because there's so many people out there that are like that, where in the back of their head, like, well, it would be nice to start a podcast or it would be nice to start making YouTube content, but I never have actually started. I would say make your first bad piece of content. So for me, this was the biggest thing that made the biggest improvement in my own journey is just lowering your expectations and saying, hey, I don't care if this video is going to be good. Actually, I'm going to intentionally make it less than perfect because it already is going to be that. But then I'm going to make that video, just put it out there into the world so that I can get my first video done. And I can tell you, after making that first bad piece of content, it actually makes making your videos so much easier. So that's the first idea that I would recommend to everyone is you want to make it as easy as possible to get started. Just get your first pieces of bad content out there because no one's going to be watching anyway. Because I think everyone has that fear of, well, if I make bad videos, people are going to judge me. My friends from high school that I haven't talked to in years, they're going to see it. And what are they going to think? I'm going to make these bad videos. It's not going to look good for my business. Well, the good news is no one's actually watching your videos. So it's a kind of a risk-free way to get out there, try it, and do all that kind of stuff. Now, the other thing, so after you get your first couple of videos out, I was listening to I listened to .com Secrets, but then I'm listening to Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And one of the things that he talks about, and this kind of challenged me, and this is actually why I'm making this video today. He said, one of the biggest things that you can do for your content is choose one platform and then post there daily for a year. And I'm like, oh, I mean, that's a lot more aggressive than I recommend people. Normally, I say like, a video a week and things like that. But he made the point is if you can post daily for a year, then you'll never have to worry about money again. And as I was even thinking about this for my own business, I'm going through and I'm like, what would it look like if I actually did post daily? And the one big fear or the one big question in my head, I'm like, what the heck would I talk about every single day? Because I'm very systematic and routine oriented, where what I would want to do is I want to lay out, a month's worth of content. Maybe I'll do a video a week. I want to break it down into the different buckets of content, be very systematic. I want to have a structure to the video and everything like that. So I'm like, I don't think I could do that daily, especially because I have a baby coming in the next couple of days. So that's not going to work. Like, how do I actually do this daily? And almost like he was reading my mind, what he said next was he said, one of the biggest problems people have when they hear that is, what do I actually talk about? So then I'm like, oh, he's reading my mind. But then he gave me the answer to that. So he said, and he got this from Gary Vee, and you probably heard it if you listen to a lot of Gary Vee stuff. He said, instead of trying to make a really good video or a really good podcast, really good blog post every single day, you need to document, not create. You need to document, not create. So that means instead of trying to create something from scratch, the things that you're already doing, the lessons you're already learning, the interactions you're already having Find ways that you can take those lessons, take those interactions, and turn those into pieces of content so that you don't have to think about how can I create something that is amazing. And like I was saying in the first point, it's lowering the bar where this doesn't have to be absolutely amazing, where the value of the content actually comes from the content itself, not how it's produced, not how it's put together. So if you really have valuable content and you're sharing the things that you're learning, the things that you've learned in the past, and just putting that out on a daily basis, that can be very valuable for your business. So those are probably the two biggest things that I would say is you want to make it as easy as possible, and then you also want to document, not create. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do in this video. So if you're a person that has been thinking about creating content for a long time, honestly, this video, I mean, this sun just keeps getting brighter and brighter here. So this is not a perfect video by any means, but this is going to be a first step on getting out there, kind of lowering the bar, and then taking one idea at a time, one question at a time, one lesson at a time, putting that on video, posting it. So, and probably no one's going to watch. But the benefit of doing this, you do this on a consistent basis, you get better at talking on camera, you get more content out there, and by, episode 45, episode 100, you're going to be so much better at presenting your ideas. And then you'll probably start getting some traction in terms of people actually watching your content and resonating with it. So if you haven't started content, or even if it's been a while since you've done that, I would challenge you just to document something today, a lesson you've learned, a idea that you've had, something that you really resonated with. Put that on video, just talk for 5 or 10 minutes, see what happens, just post it to the platform, super simple title and thumbnail, and then just see what happens. Probably nothing will happen, but the benefit is, like I said, the goal is to get started and continue to show up before you perfect it. So if you haven't started content, start some content, and I'll see you next time.